I got to thinking the other day about how our marriages could be pretty dramatically transformed if we simply were to strive to display some of the character qualities of God. And God makes it clear what some of his main character qualities are. He describes himself in Psalm 103, verse 8, for instance, and he says this about himself: "The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in love." Ooh, I love that description of the Lord. We love the Lord to act that way toward us, don't we? I know I do. What if we were to pick even one of those character qualities and really strive to display that particular character quality to our husbands? I wonder how, first of all, appreciative our husbands would be, but how this would impact our marriages for the better. Let's pick the word grace, for instance, because the Lord describes himself as being gracious. Gracious simply means extending undeserved favor towards someone, giving them, favor and maybe even kindness that they really don't deserve, unmerited favor. All right, how could you display graciousness, grace toward your husband? Let me give you a small example. How about assuming the best instead of the worst when he disappoints you in some small way? Like you told him to pick up some, bread on the way home from work and he forgot to do it, and you're like, oh, he doesn't even care about me. He doesn't pay any attention to me. He doesn't care anything about me, what I say. And we just jump to the wrong conclusions. What if we extend grace and assume the best? That he was busy, preoccupied, thinking about something stressful from work, and so it completely slipped his mind. And we just show unmerited favor and say, it's okay, no big deal, I understand. How about this example? A little more significant, perhaps. Maybe your husband comes home super stressed out from work and he kind of snaps at you. I mean, I'm not talking about anything, hugely wrong, because if he's like yelling obscenities at you, you should never tolerate that at all. But let's say he's just a little bit grumpy and irritable and snappy. And we can just, get all offended and tell him, what is your problem, you loser, you jerk? Or we could display the character of God, and we could choose to be gracious, give him undeserved favor in that moment, maybe recognizing that he probably had something really stressful or bad happen at work, and so we choose to extend grace, unmerited favor for some of those small little things. How about something bigger? Maybe you've caught your husband looking at pornography again, and he repents and he says, I'm so sorry, I have a problem with this, I need to try to do something, I'm sorry, I've hurt you, I don't want to be looking at this stuff. And we could choose to stay bitter, resentful, push him away, treat him like he's disgusting, or we could choose grace in that moment, especially if our husband has repented and asked for our forgiveness. Because we want to be forgiven when we mess up. We expect God to be gracious toward us, merciful toward us. What if our husband is struggling with something, but he wants to be free from it, and he's repented and he's been honest? What if we extend that unmerited favor and say, I'm not going to hold resentment against you. I'm going to forgive you. I want to help you figure out how to break free from this thing. I'm your partner. I believe in you. Whew. Talk about impacting your marriage for the better. Let's all try practicing extending grace to our husbands this week and see what happens.